Alright, what's up, guys? I have to do another freaking take on this. But as you can tell from this title, this guy is going to speak about why unions are actually bad. They are blocking progress.
The new machines used by some American ports are remarkable.
So, okay. So far, he's talking about the machines getting good. You know what? I think if they're more streamlined and they're more efficient, hey, go for it. But guess what? There's more layers to this sort of argumentation. And I'm thinking that we're going to see a reason why people don't like this.
Containers are lowered onto trailers, and within seconds, those trucks drive off. They know where to turn, where to drive, and there are no humans in sight.
No humans is why some union longshoremen are mad.
Okay. Already specified. No humans is why some union longshoremen are mad. Yeah, because they're gonna get cut off. They're not gonna have their livelihood anymore. They're gonna struggle to get a job. All of these guys are gonna get laid off at about the same time. So guess what? They're gonna have a higher difficulty getting a job. And inevitably, a lot of these families, a lot of these people in families, I don't know if you like families or not, but I love families, actually. I love the idea of family values. But guess what? These guys are fighting for it. And you're like, no, I don't like the family values. Actually, it's very bad for the economy, and it's not as streamlined, and it's not as technologically advanced, and therefore it's... All right, dude. Okay, boomer.
Thousands of union dock workers across the country are striking for the first time in nearly 50 years.
Our main focus right now is automation. Automation. We can't have automation.
They are demanding a total ban on automated.
They're declaring that ban because their livelihood and their measurement of human value and human worth is based upon what they can do for the supply chain. And so if they cannot be exploited as workers anymore, then they're out of luck. They're out of a place to live, and they're out of a basic sense of livelihood. The economy doesn't magically give everyone the ability to have a job if they pull their bootstraps up because of things like this, mass layoffs, and companies are doing this with almost every kind of job. It's a problem. A lot of tech workers are laid off, and then they're trying to, or rather they, in this context, our CEOs, are trying to outsource it with Indian workers. Now you tell me, is that a good thing for us? That outsourcing has already been happening, but now, when it comes to our internal data centers, when it comes to all of the functions that we have in the United States based on any technical skill that takes people years of college and that demands higher compensation, guess what? What if we pull someone out of an impoverished country, gave them the training, and paid them way less? This is the kind of thing that is constantly happening within our economy, and that is why the discrepancy of wealth is the way it is.
Trains, gates, and container moving trucks.
They paused their strike when they got a raise. But Union President Harold Daggett says, we'll strike again in January unless we get a total ban on automation.
Yeah. I mean, it's justified to pause it for a little bit once you get a raise because maybe the company is realizing what they're doing wrong. And you're thinking that they're going to walk back on more of these things. They're not. They don't care. So they need this.
If I don't get that, I'm not coming back to the table.
He's clear about how closing his ports will hurt American workers.
Guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job.
He doesn't care because his only priority is how do I enhance my special interest group.
Wait, you're talking about the union? Hold up, you witch of the Wild West. What? Okay. Now, obviously, she's some sort of economist that they have in here telling us that the free market's actually good and the GDP goes up when workers are compensated less, which is true. But the wealth inequality shows in our society, and we are constantly driven towards cancerous economic growth.
Anonymous Leah Polygashvili.
They're saying, we don't care if these other jobs are destroyed as long as we get what we want.
Okay. See how much of a mischaracterization of unions that is? That is crazy to me. They're not getting what they want. It sounds, it's like they're getting like, it's like she's talking to a kid in kindergarten that got a crayon of the color they don't like. And then you tell them you get what you get, you don't throw a fit. Except when you tell this to workers, when it comes to the idea of a livable wage and the idea of job security, this is not the same thing. You are not denying them the blue crayon. You are denying them shelter and food. Let's keep going.
But there's a cluelessness to his demands because banning automation will also hurt his members.
They'll save some jobs today, but they'll destroy a lot more jobs in the future.
Because Daggett's union will...
Incredible. Okay, whatever. More jobs in the future. So you mean like a room of 4 people managing these robots with cameras rather than having a full work staff at these ports?
Only controls East and Gulf Coast ports. And shippers now have choices. They'll just send the stuff to automated ports.
Yeah, that's right. Over the long run, we're actually going to see less business and less activity in the Stone Age ports.
You call them Stone?
That's crazy to me. Stone Age ports. Okay. Give us UBI and then we can have all those kinds of ports. Come on.
Age ports?
Well, they want to ban, for example, opening and closing of port doors.
They want to have guys pulling the...
Yes, they want to have guys opening and closing the doors, by themselves.
It's so absurd. I want to yell at him. You're killing your...
I'll fucking yell at you in person if I ever see you. Holy shit. I want to yell at him. You're killing your own business. It's not good for you. The automation is better. No. You don't understand. You don't understand. He really doesn't. Why? You're killing most of the country. People like you taking away these rights from these workers and increasing our metric of economic inequality. That is ruining the country. So you can't tell me anything about ruining the country when you are speaking out against the idea of wealth equality.
Own business. And even though he rightly complains about safety,
the jobs on the waterfront are very dangerous. We've had 17 people killed in the last 3 years.
But that's an argument for automation.
We just had a...
That's true. People dying is not good. We can all agree on this. However, this guy is basically pitting that idea against the prospect of these workers getting a livable wage and keeping their jobs. I literally just want to keep on hammering that home and screaming that over and over again because this guy, it's literally like, metaphorically, it's as if you are ignoring one of your friends. You know what I'm saying? You're pretending like they're here and they're saying something and then you're just never acknowledging it. You're like, oh, it'd be so cool if they were here. I'm right here. Hi. Oh, it's just such a shame. That's the same kind of argument this guy's making. This is not the argument, but this is the same kind of like short-sightedness and tunnel visioning that we just love to see. Isn't it so good for the economy if things are automated and multiple families starve and die? Cool.
Get killed in Houston.
Why does he go on like that? He's arguing against himself. I see why he wouldn't agree to an interview.
Acknowledging how difficult this job is and how much people are entitled to the compensation that this job should give, that the union negotiates for. So, yeah, let's keep going.
Automation, by having machines do dangerous jobs, will make his ports safer.
If you care about the safety of these workers, you should enhance their jobs and make them safer and better. And the only way you can do that is with technological advancements and automation.
That crane alone, oh my gosh. It's like those self-running cranes, each of these, I can imagine like 5 people being out of a job. This is so dystopian and disgusting.
And there's lots of room for improvement.
America has some of the least efficient ports in the world.
Not a single American port ranks in the top 50 worldwide.
US ports are, generally speaking, much less efficient. There's several explanations to it. Number one is lack of automation.
Other countries have used automated cranes for years. They're 80% faster than human-operated cranes used at some American ports.
The best ports in the world are Asian and kind of Middle Eastern ports. They allow for innovation and technological advancements. You look at videos of Chinese ports, they're actually...
I don't want you guys talking about Chinese ports. The moment you're talking about Chinese ports being better, we need to implement some of their economic policy. We really do. 90% of people in China own homes. You can call China communist, state capitalist, whatever you want, but at least in that country, the workers' ability to make a basic living is not pinned against that of automation. And this is why China is able to more optimally transition into it. This is why there is less opposition to having more automated ports in China.
Sitting behind a computer screen and directing the port activity through the computer screen, and that you might say that's a better job.
I bet.
Let's count, guys. Let's count. 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and look at what they're all supervising. They're replacing a full staff of port workers. And I mean, that is, if, we automate ports in the U.S., obviously, this is probably just one shown up in China. She just brought up China. So this is one in China. But China's a way different kind of government, and they have a way different kind of economy.
Directing the port activity through the computer screen, and that you might say that's a better job.
I bet there are fewer of them.
Some port jobs will definitely be lost, but that's not a bad thing. You look at it historically, we had
It's
hundreds
not
of
a bad thing because the GDP will go up.
thousands of blacksmiths and candle makers and watchmakers.
Those jobs and many others were destroyed by new technology. But unemployment didn't surge. New jobs emerged that...
The biggest difference is that a lot of those jobs, and a lot of modern day, or rather pre-modern, or maybe you can say it's postmodern right now, but a lot of jobs historically have still been what you classify as dumb labor. A lot of jobs just need someone to have basic kinesthetic functions to work it. And a lot of necessary jobs are simple. Not everyone. Like, there is no need for as much, like, higher paying, like, glamorized jobs as there is for, like, retail jobs, at least right now. Criminals can get better at hacking, and the cybersecurity industry can be changed, and, well, maybe they need to staff more. But as of now, most of the economy revolves around simple jobs. So if you're saying, oh, there was innovation and unemployment didn't really go down, well, this does not account for the fact that AI and robotics are going to enable companies to steal, or not even steal, but to have robot slaves that can do essentially the same things as humans. They are going to have all of our basic kinesthetic functions, and a lot of jobs are very simple. Put this here, put this there, talk to this person. A lot of AI has replaced jobs in California, for example, when it comes to fast food and food service and taking orders. I do not interpret that to be a good thing. Not as of now, because this is the point where human value is going to go down. This is the point, if we keep living in a capitalist economy where you need to work to eat, and then we innovate technology that takes away our need to work, then why are we still letting people starve? Why are we still making people pay for rent? Why do you gotta pay for shelter? You gotta really think about these things. And that economist lady is telling the truth from only the GDP perspective. And this is one thing that you always have to know. GDP is gross domestic product. This is an estimate as to how much money a country brings in, produces, just how active the economy is. How many goods and services are sold and bought, how much companies are worth. And a lot of it is based on stock inflation. A lot of stocks right now are worth way more than they need to be because corporate wings of companies will cut people off in order to min-max on their expenses. And that will raise the stock price. So let's keep going with this,
People then hadn't imagined. Pilots, programmers, mechanics, electricians, medical technicians. That's
This is the problem, is even when it comes to medical technicians, a lot of robots are in the early phases of learning how to do surgery on people. We are nowhere near that point where it can replace people. But it can always seem that way. And then technology can grow much faster than predicted. Just like the AI boom. And right now, AI might not be the greatest. And it might not be the greatest within 3 to 10 years. But after that point, I can imagine a lot of jobs being overtaken by it.
Capitalism's creative destruction. It constantly creates new jobs.
Capitalism,
and that makes most everyone richer.
Support. You said make most everyone richer?
New jobs. And that makes most everyone
richer, just not the poor people.
Everyone richer.
Support the coalition of obsolete industries?
Under the union's logic, we should have banned things like flush toilets.
I used to have to clean people's toilets, empty them from the alleyway behind the house, and now flushing toilets and plumbing has taken away my job.
Electricity has taken over my profession. If we don't stop progress, how will anyone ever have jobs?
That's what the media sound like when they cover automation.
Close to
That's what the media sound like when they cover automation. Do you understand that these two things are infinitely different? They are infinitely different. The idea of the innovation of the toilet, that is a mechanical tool. That is a mechanical tool. That does not mimic our basic ability to pick things up, to move things, to organize things. That does not steal that ability, but rather those abilities are used in different fields, such as jobs that you brought up, such as technicians, okay, electricians. But when the sub-skills of most jobs are going to be free for companies, they are not going to hire people. They're not going to attack on another expense. They're not encouraged to. It is not within their best interest. This is what I hate so much, is that a lot of the robotics and the AI boom are essentially developing a lot of humanity's base abilities. Our base functions. Our ability to move and even think in a lot of ways. It is not enough to replace a person when it comes to a lot of jobs, but it will be. And it is at ports. And that is why unions are trying to organize throughout the planet right now, because they need to. They need to, because if these companies develop these AI models and these robotics to steal their jobs, guess what? They're out of a living. So
50% of the workforce being completely eliminated, as in no more jobs for them.
You get this media bias where you focus on the one worker who lost their job.
After I lost my job, everything went downhill from there.
because the media can see the lost jobs.
That's right.
The media are bad at paying attention to all the new jobs that replace them.
Where are they? Where are they? I'm asking you that right now because it is still very difficult to get most jobs. There are not a whole lot of job postings right now. I'm telling you right now, the job market is not the greatest right now, and it is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, especially when companies that don't even have robotics for people to automate their jobs for them. Guess what? A lot of these companies will either cut people off, or when people that work for them quit, they will purposely understaff and put the job listing there so that companies that work for the company will work 3 times as hard. That listing's been there for a week. Companies like, oh my gosh, you've been working so hard. You've been being so good for me, you little slave. I promise we'll have another cattle hired just to graze the fields with you. And then guess what? They never end up hiring. Their new normal for a staff is, 1 person short, 2 people short, 3 people short, 5 people short, 10 people short. And then it comes to the point where a lot of restaurants only have 2 people in it that are going crazy. They're going apeshit. They're going wild just to be able to provide a living for themselves because they love their families, because they love the people in their lives. They would not put up with that if they didn't have those people. And now, even people who love their families are torn apart mentally and physically by the labor and taxation of these jobs, and they're not given shelter at the bare minimum, and that's evil. These people are talking about destructive ideas towards the average person, the average family, and I really want to hammer that home. They are anti-family in every way possible.
Reporter doesn't follow up with the worker 2 years later, but research does, and research shows that worker then gets a new job. And
on average, better job.
That worker then gets a new job. Interesting. Okay. All right. Unemployment might not be at a super high percentage, and it might not ever be at that point. But the AI boom taking away the sub-skills that people have to do certain tasks are most certainly going to increase that metric by even 20%. I can see it coming.
They do better jobs and higher wages.
Higher wages because innovation helps people do more. Look at construction.
People do more. No, it helps less people do more if they're stealing our basic functions, our basic kinesthetic functions, our basic ability to do things.
Introduction of bulldozers, crane trucks, and all these tools have made the construction industry and the construction workers better off. It's more efficient and more productive, and the real wages of those construction workers increase.
Machines got to stop.
By fighting machines, union leaders don't protect workers. They hold us all back from a safer, wealthier future.
No. They hold people like you back. They hold people like that lady back. They hold the elites back. That's what they do. That's what unions do. We really, really need to understand this as a society because we really need to have more action, more proactive action. This kind of sentiment makes my blood boil. I'm not even going to say what I'd want to do after watching this kind of thing to this disingenuous dude. But I can tell he's bought out.
The automated ones.
Automated ones. Shut up.
Thanks for watching this video. If you're feeling generous, please consider supporting our channel by donating to the Giving Tuesday campaign by clicking that button. All donations now will be matched by a generous donor.
Oh. Okay. No, we know what kind of guy this is. Fuck this guy! And like, subscribe. Cool. See you guys later.